You're sitting there with Messi on the screen, trophy in his hands, and you think you already know the story. He won the 2022 World Cup. He's the GOAT. Case closed. But the thing is, 2026 is not about closing the case. It's about reopening it. And this time, the question isn't just whether Messi is the greatest. It's whether this World Cup will add a serious amount of money to his net worth or slowly start to take it off. You're standing in the trenches of the biggest football story of the decade. And most people don't even see the money part. They see the trophy, the goals, the fans. They don't see the sponsorships, the legacy value, the brand deals. Let's start with something simple. This World Cup could add $10 million or more to Lionel Messi's net worth. That's from the story that fans and brands will tell about him for the next 20 years. And if 2026 doesn't go his way, that same story could cost him just as much. You're watching an older Messi, maybe 39 years old, leading a team that's tired, maybe broken. And the question is this the final proof that he's the GOAT? Or is this the moment that finally shows he's past his peak? If he performs like a 25-year-old, this World Cup could cement him as the undisputed greatest of all time, forever. If he struggles, the story becomes, Messi was great, but 2026 exposed that he's past his peak. That story will affect how fans talk about him for decades. It will affect how brands value him. And it will affect how much money he makes from his legacy. You're already smiling because you remember 2022, Argentina, World Cup, Messi lifting the trophy, the stress, the joy, the final moment. Everything clicked. He finally won the World Cup. But football is not just about trophies. It's about narrative. For years, the story was, Messi is the best, but he never won the World Cup. Then 2022 changed that. Now the next question is 2026 too late for him? Can he still lead Argentina at 39 years old? Will this be his final World Cup or the one that finally breaks his legacy? You're watching a proposition that most people don't think about. Messi's brand is already global. Adidas, Major League Soccer, hotels, drinks, and other partnerships. But 2026 is special. In World Cup years, player value spikes. Brands want to be associated with the final story of legends. If Messi wins or performs like a hero, brands will say, the king of 2026. If he struggles, brands might say, the end of an era. That story affects licensing deals, merch, video games, posters, appearances, events, and long-term income from legacy content. Even after he stops playing, Messi will earn from documentaries, games, merchandise, and appearances. But the size of that income depends on how 2026 is remembered. If 2026 is the final proof, his legacy earnings could be significantly higher. If it's the end of the run, they'll still be high, but with slower growth. Let's talk numbers, because that's where the real power is. The 2026 World Cup prize pool is massive. $871 million total. Each team gets at least $12.5 million, $2 million more than in 2022. But for a player like Messi, the prize money is the smallest part. Studies show that for top players, 60 to 70% of their income comes from sponsorships and brand deals. So what happens if Messi wins or performs strongly in 2026? And what happens if he struggles and leaves early? If he performs strongly, brands see him as the final hero of the 2026 World Cup. His value as a legacy icon skyrockets. He could sign new deals or get bonus payouts from old ones. A realistic estimate is $10 million or more in added value over the next 2 to 3 years. If he struggles, the narrative shifts to Messi's final bow. Brands might start moving to the next generation. His legacy money still exists, but it grows slower. That's the risk. The same World Cup can either multiply his legacy money or slow it down. You're standing in front of a split screen now. On one side, Messi wins. On the other side, Messi struggles. If Messi wins, the story becomes, the king won his final World Cup like a champion. Brands will lean into him as the hero of 2026. His legacy becomes untouchable. His long-term income from media, games, and events grows faster. If Messi struggles or leaves early, the story becomes, the legend's final bow. Brands start shifting to the next generation of players. His legacy is still huge, but the growth slows. He becomes more of a classic legend than an active hero. That's the reality. 2026 is not just about the trophy. It's about the story that will define Messi for the next 20-plus years. And that story directly affects how much money he makes from his legacy. You're watching a timeline appear on the screen now. 2022, World Cup win. 2026, final test. After 2026, the story either grows or fades. If 2026 is the final proof, his legacy earnings could be significantly higher. If it's the end of the run, they'll still be high, but with slower growth. The thing is, most people think the World Cup is just about football. It's not. It's about money, stories, and careers, all in one tournament. So does 2026 make or break Messi's legacy and net worth? Yes, but not in the way most people think. It's not about the prize money. It's about the story fans and brands will tell for the next 20 years. If Messi performs like a hero, 2026 could add $10 million or more to his net worth and cement him as the undisputed GOAT. If he struggles, he'll still be a legend, but the growth of his legacy money will slow down. That's the real power of the World Cup. It's not just football. It's money, stories, and careers, all in one tournament. You're back at the beginning now. Messi on the screen, trophy in his hands, and you think you already know the story. But 2026 is not about closing the case. It's about reopening it. And this time, the question isn't just whether Messi is the greatest. It's whether this World Cup will add a serious amount of money to his net worth or slowly start to take it off. If you like this deep dive into football, money, and legacy, you're on the right channel. I break down how the game makes money, moves people, and changes careers. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's dive into the next story together. Deep explainers. No fluff. Just the real story behind the game.